The actual point where I thought I could turn it into action and kind of bring this full circle with some of my experiences and my family's experiences was really about a year ago. And I work very closely with my mom. So shout out to my mom on the You Me Neurodiversity project. And we sort of threw the first title together very quickly. So actually getting to that point of, okay, like we want to do this. We want to write these children's books and make this series a reality was actually a fairly quick process. But I would say creative writing had been a huge part of my life for as long as I can remember. I was always really into journaling from a super young age, and it was just such a great outlet for me for so many years. So that's always one piece of advice that I like to give to young people, old people, that any people of any age that are looking to kind of start a community project is to go where your passion is and tap into those outlets that, provided you joy and comfort when you were a child, because there's so much opportunity there to turn it into a force for good.
I'm sure a lot of your books have real life experiences in them. And being that you've had so many in that initial process, how did you pick one?
Oh, good question. Well, I think for the first title, Max and the Tower of Acceptance, it's a really great story about Max, who goes on this journey of sort of explaining the way his brain works to his class. So that was just sort of a very natural way to start. In the classroom, I feel like from a young age, that's a space where kids are learning so much about themselves, but also about their peers, about how they learn, about how they experience the world. So the classroom setting just seemed like a great place to start for that. And you're right, they all are inspired by real life stories and experiences. And I do want to just briefly talk about Julie Visits the Statue of Liberty, our most recent title that came out 2 months ago. Yes. And this one is really special because my brother one day asked to visit the Statue of Liberty. And we don't know if he saw it in a book or in a movie, but one day he told us he wanted to go visit the Statue of Liberty. We were like, okay, this trip might look a little different. We're going to bring our noise canceling headphones. We're going to bring our snacks. We're going to bring our communication device, and we're going to make it a day. And it ended up being a fantastic experience for Michael. So that story is about a little girl named Julie and her family's sensory inclusive, neurodiversity affirming trip to see the Statue of Liberty. So it's just sort of those painful moments that turn into stories like this, but it's also the celebratory moments.
I was just going to touch on that. It's a lot of that family unit coming together from maybe a few years ago that wasn't really in Michael's cards, to be able to go to the Statue of Liberty, to make a whole day out of it. And now here you guys are literally making an entire day out of it and then being able to write about it.
Yes.
And I love that you talk about the sensory inclusive piece, because I think sometimes, we talk to so many families where they're like, oh, what if someone's looking at us weird because they're wearing noise canceling headphones, or because I need to bring visuals with me out in the community. But I think these books are really helpful because it's showing people, hey, we all need to get our needs met in some way, and it's going to look different, and that's okay. And going to somewhere like the Statue of Liberty, there's going to be people of all different abilities, and that's just what Michael needs to be successful.
And I was going to say, before you had said that, I do love that you point out like the difficult things that happen along the way too. You don't always just like highlight the positives, right? So you're not only highlighting that, hey, this could happen and it may not be the most positive, but here are the strategies that you can implement. Even in the books too, you have breakdowns and visuals for families who are reading these books to implement some of these strategies within the environment. So not only a great story, but also very helpful.
Thank you. That's our goal.
Yeah. And I think it's helpful too. I don't know if you've come across this in like sibling groups or things like that, but I think this is a great book series to give to families, especially those, with siblings with autism, things like that, because that's especially a big question I get asked by families. Are there any resources out there? What can I tell my son or daughter about their sibling who has autism or has another, potential developmental disability, things like that. So I think this is a great resource for them. Have you encountered that with families so far?
Yes, I have. I actually babysit for a family, and the older boy is on the spectrum. And I'm not sure how it came up talking about our books in the series, but it did come up. And then the mom went and she looked at some of the titles, purchased them, and I was just so grateful for that. Just to have, just another family connection was so great. But yes, and the results and the feedback and the conversation that we had about it was just so special, because the point is to normalize autism and to normalize different ways of seeing and experiencing the world. And that's what I love so much about the neurodiversity approach. It's not forgetting that there are differences. It's not pretending like they don't exist, but it's viewing those differences and variations as a normal part of the human experience, and getting ourselves to the question of, okay, what is our responsibility and what can we do to equitably meet these differences to help every child, every community member reach their full potential? Because the truth is, the world was not designed for the autistic, the ADHD, the OCD, the dyslexic perspective. It wasn't. But it's going to be 2025, and it's time that we start to rethink some of those structures and the way that we provide support to people, no matter how they think or experience the world.
Check out thekarmacollection.com for stylish, ABA-inspired apparel that spreads the message of behavior science with every wear. Free shipping on orders over $120. thekarmacollection.com